Don't fall through, little bridge. Hey guys, Matt with BleepinJeep. I've got a problem.
I'm just here because the court made me come.
We, in a few weeks, have to be, well, first of all, I live in Tennessee, and in a few weeks, we have to be in Utah for the Wrecker Games. No, not the Offroad Games, they're calling it this year. 1 week from that is EJS, and so that means I need two vehicles. One for the Offroad Games, and one for the Onyx Build Challenge, which that is going to be interesting what I'm bringing for that. But back to this problem at hand. We have to have two vehicles in Utah in a few weeks from now. My Tundra over there is not capable of hauling two vehicles. I don't have a trailer that can haul two vehicles, so that leaves us with this tractor.
Capable of hauling two vehicles.
Man, I'm going to drive across the country like this. Alright, so what does this tractor have to do with anything? Well, it's an interesting story. So Josh picked up this F350?
F350.
F350 that has been wrecked. We also have a bridge here at Josh's house, which is going to come into this at some point.
Yes.
And we have a tractor. So, you paid what, $4,000 for this thing?
It was four, yeah.
$4,000. And the idea is to be able to take this cheap wrecked vehicle and make it work again. But the problem is it has a wrecked frame. This thing, Josh, this thing is messed up. I don't know why you bought this. Look at the receiver.
It's not where it's supposed to be.
This is the middle of the bumper. This is the middle of the receiver head. The whole axle's bent. The frame's bent. This thing's like a foot higher on this side.
The truck got hit right here on this wheel, sideways, and it had a trailer hooked up to it. I figured out. That's why the hitch is over, because axle went that way, trailer stayed over here, bent the hitch. From what I've been able to deduce from cleaning out the truck, other than they had people that died, is it was a landscaping vehicle.
Well, what's even weirder, okay, I feel bad for these guys, but that made me think just now when you said that, does anybody recognize these? That's from a cemetery. It goes upside down like this so that they can mow, and then you pull on the little handle there, you flip it over and put flowers in it, and there's two of them, and there's two crosses there. Do you think this truck may be haunted?
It could be haunted.
So what's the first thing we should do here?
So the guy that I got it from.
That sounded bad.
He had started to work on it, but all he had really done is mess things up. So he replaced the U-bolt and the plate, and he put in a lift block, and it's a factory lift block, but it's not the same size as that factory lift block.
What I'm wondering is it factory to have a different size lift block on one side to the other?
I think they're supposed to be the same. And this it's not even wide enough. It doesn't even fit on the plate right. So who knows?
So there's a 3-inch lift block on this side, a 2-inch lift block on this side, an overload spring on this side, no overload spring on this side. This thing is new. I wonder if all this just broke apart, and to get it like just rolling again, they replaced some of this stuff.
Yeah. So I got lift blocks. We're going to replace that one, and that's going to set this side of the frame down a little bit.
Let's at the same time get this off. Look how
that.
bent that thing is.
I did squirt them with some WD-40 Specialist penetrant this morning. So.
And it was below freezing this morning, so it's nice and chilly out here today. Yeah, you better take it out of 4-wheel drive before you try that. Okay, send it! It's just dragging the tractor. my tractor's not as tough as I thought. What we're trying to do is get this thing spin so we can see how bad the axle has bent, but it's now stuck in 4-wheel drive. Do you have it in 4 low? So you got to put it in neutral. And then you got to put it back in 4 low and then go to 4 high and then wait for it to go into that, and then you got to put it into 2-wheel drive once it goes into 4 high. Maybe it's just frozen. Oh, it's not wobbling. It just looks like it's crooked. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just not centered in the leaf spring. Seems pretty straight there. Okay. We shall continue. Okay. Next up, we need to replace the block under there.
Yep.
So I'll spin the tractor around, get those loose, and we'll lift this up a little bit. Pull that out. Hopefully we'll lift it up. I don't know if it's gonna do it.
It's only got to lift the frame and not the axle. So.
Plan is to temporarily put this block on top just to take up space so that we can tighten those bolts down. Well, another option would be to, if you had a bunch of washers. You got a bunch of washers?
I don't think. I do have a bunch of washers, but finding them would be tough.
Okay, so he wants to keep the overload spring eventually, but we don't have it just yet, so we need to make up space. Completely off. There you go. Alright, what's the next step? Bridge? You guys haven't seen the bridge yet.
Let's drop it down and see.
That's going to be an important part of this. Okay, let's see where we're at here. So, I don't know if you guys can see that well. It's much better. Josh thinks that this side is low rather than this side being high. Yeah. He thinks this side got bent downward.
You would think since it got hit on this side that this would be the bad side, but because of that trailer being on there, that energy went that way and just
kind of
that's what pulled that
pushed
under and lowered that side.
How would you know for sure though whether, like, where it's supposed to be?
We're gonna make it even with this side.
Okay.
That's all it needs to happen is the two sides need to be even.
What about this cross member? Is that welded in or bolted in or what?
It is
riveted. So I guess that's not going anywhere.
No. It tweaked the cross member.
So to get that to come up, we have to tie this side down.
The whole thing doesn't need to come up. It's pretty level here, then it goes down. We want to tie this rail down and then put the porta power underneath the back of it and lift up.
Do we have a tape measure where we could go along and mark heights? Seems like that would be kind of important to see side to side height difference. You know, I opened the door of my truck to get that Dr. Pepper, and there was a tape measure sitting right on there.
There's probably a Milwaukee in there too.
Okay, we got 32. So we're good up until this point. So on the back here, we're at 34. Passenger side, we're at 35 and a half. So it seems like a lot, but it's not a whole lot. All right, tell me your plan, because I'm confused as to what we're doing here. Are we trying to pull that spud bar
That way.
with your winch here?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that bolt's coming out. That looks like it's there to stay. There's no removing these leaf springs.
They are where they are.
Yeah. Kind of like that Dodge. Cut here and re-weld everything.
Not today.
Did it come out?
It came out.
Oh wow. Look at that. That spud bar is bending. We probably ought to get a sledge and go smack it. I got the sledge. Look at this truck. That's gonna be a nice truck if we can get all the kinks worked out for $4 grand. You wanna do the honors?
Sure.
I'll get in the tractor, put it in high gear, and just take off with a strap that way.
It actually would help.
Alright, we're moving on to the driver's side here. This is the spring hanger. I don't know if you can see that, but it is out like that.
This is the side I was saying we may need to take one of those big 2x6s and weld on it and have that 10-foot of leverage.
Let's use our thinking caps here. Stand right there in the triangle of death. You said you have a torch, right?
Yeah.
I thought you said you had a torch.
I have a plasma.
A plasma. Okay, that'll work. You see that hole right there? If we open that hole up big enough to put the spud bar in, we could put the spud bar in like this, and then it would be in the proper angle to bend that bracket and the frame that direction.
Yep.
It is right next to the gas tank, though. The diesel tank. Our options are the spud bar. We have a porta power. I do have my tractor.
Actually, that would work. Put your bucket up. We'll strap your bucket to the frame and then push off the bucket.
As long as it doesn't start bending the bucket.
I would hope it doesn't.
Okay. Do you want to try that over the plasma torching and spud bar?
Yeah, we'll try that before we start cutting by the gas tank.
Diesel.
Diesel.
Okay, that's about 2.5 feet. Can you make it that short?
Oh yeah.
Now tell us how this porta power works.
Just like a jack.
Just a big jack?
Yep, that's really all it is a big jack.
And it has a handle?
It has a handle.
Okay. You got
There's a little spreader too, though. That thing's kind of neat.
What's that do? It spreads open?
Yep.
It's gonna take 8,000 pumps just to move that sucker. We need to strap the bucket down, so we're pulling against it. We go grab some straps. There's a Bronco. I seem to remember a Bronco versus Grand Cherokee video that did really well.
Old Jeep beater. It's looking, I've seen pictures of it. It's looking pretty good.
The Bronco?
Yeah, he's done a lot of work to it.
We'll have to do a repeat of the Bronco versus Jeep beater. There you go.
Nothing sketchy about that at all.
Perfect.
This thing, if it was working right, will do 10 tons.
10 tons?
Yes.
Well, I don't think my tractor bucket can hold 10 tons, so... It's moving, I can see it.
Yeah, it's moving.
How far can this go before it splits in half?
It's got a little ways yet.
Okay. Everybody's backing up. I think a lot of it is that the spring is crooked and the rubber is just flaccid.
Yeah, we need the axle to go that way.
Well, that's going to be difficult at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, the best way is going to be to take your Jeep, strap it to the axle, and just go kaboom! Wait, something's happening.
It just got easy.
Yeah, it's not moving. I bet you it hit the end of its travel. Maybe we need to add another spacer or bring the bucket down. There's a lot of tension in there. We're gonna blow a rivet right out of there. It's just gonna go choom. Alright, so some rough measurements here. We have about 1 foot to that mark in the tire on this side. On this side, we have 11 1/4 inches. So the axle needs to come this way is what it's saying, right?
It's saying the tire's farther out that way now?
Based off of the frame, measuring from the frame.
Because it was way the other way when we started.
I feel like a detective trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, so this is the passenger side. I can't get my hand in there. Got plenty of room there. And then on the driver's side, that's pretty tight there. And that's tight as well there. So what is going on here? So the centering pin is still there. So this is where it wants to be. And this is where it needs to be. $23 1/4. Josh went to go get an angle finder. The frame it needs a little more tweaking, but it's fairly straight. The issue that we've got is the axle, for whatever reason, is completely crooked. I'm almost wondering if it's not the leaf springs. I'm wondering if this axle is really bent. Like, I think the axle's bent right there. You can see that there's a finger width here on this side, less than a finger width. Right there, I think the axle comes out of this chunk here and then goes that way. Because if you look on the other side, if you come around here, you can see this little groove here where they machined it down is completely straight with that. I think that's the issue. There's not really any way to put a straight edge across it because the chunk's in the way. That surface has to be a machined surface, and you can tell from the top here that it's at an angle. No wonder this guy got rid of it so cheap. And some sucker bought it. If you want this truck to run perfect down the road, it's looking like a set of leaf springs, an axle, and to do a little bit more tweaking on this frame. Alright, we're going to put this back together. Alright, we're going to get this on level ground, measure it, see if we still need to do the bridge. It's very much within spec now, but we did some measuring now that we're on flat ground here. This side is about, what'd you say, ½ inch lower than this side, just the back of the frame here. It's still exactly 32 inches here and here. We're missing one dually here, so we have to calculate for a ½ inch lower on this side than that side as far as the axle is concerned. But after measuring that all up, it looks like this side needs to be pushed up a little.
Yeah.
Or this side down. Which one is it?
I'm gonna go with this side up.
So that's where the bridge comes in. Let's go check out this bridge that we've been talking about.
This is my bridge. So it's a bridge on top of an older bridge, and that's what I know about it. There's a steel frame underneath it. We got to pull one of those ties up so that we can get a chain down around that frame.
We got to pull one of these ties up?
Yep. That's the idea.
Can we go fishing instead?
You can try, but I think you'll have better luck bending the frame.
There's got to be crawfish in there. Did you throw all your tools in the bed?
They're all in the bed.
Okay. Where is it that you think we should tie down to?
Somewhere right here.
Okay, don't fall through, little bridge. It's a little muddy down here.
Let's see, 37.5. We are at 38 3/4. So we're a ½ inch past.
Let's see where it is when I let go, though.
37.5.
Don't hit the gas tank. Okay, now we're gonna set it down in here. It's gonna be the opposite. It's gonna be too high on this side.
We were at 39 3/4. We were at 38 1/16.
What were we supposed to go to?
38 1/4.
So it's close.
It's close.
So a little more?
A little more. There's 40.
Go a little more.
That's 40.5.
Wanna go back down and measure it?
Yeah, let's see if it moves. No smack. It moved 1/16 of an inch. We need another 1/8 of an inch.
It's also a weight savings as well. Every time you smack it,
Some of the truck
a
falls off.
pound of rust falls off.
That's good. We're just over where we were going to be.
All right, get your head out of the way so we can show everybody. Oh, yeah, yep. I think the left side's higher now. Now we got to raise the right side. We're just going to give you a lift
By bending the frame.
by bending the frame up.
Why don't we always do that?
That would be the perfect lift. It's a zero budget lift. You just bend your frame. I think it's pretty good.
It's good that way. It's kicked this way.
What?
The whole frame is kicked this way at about that same point.
Okay, so
I don't know that that's anything the bridge can fix unless we turn the truck on its side.
you'd have to tie it off to a tree on this side and then winch on this side.
That's why there's a strap on that tree up there.
Well, you didn't do it enough.
It was dragging the Jeep.
Well, you gotta tie it off to a tree.
They needed another strap.
Okay, well, that's our next goal. All right. All right, well, that was a fun day, guys. It's getting dark. We're going to continue tweaking on that. That was a full day of twerking on that truck. But we are, to answer a lot of your questions, we are going to be at the Offroad Games this year. So that is, what's the date on that? March?
The 9th or the 12th?
March 18th? I think it's March 18th or something. Don't quote me on that. But if you're going to the off-road games, or if you'd like to go to the off-road games, come on out. So the idea this year is that we spot somebody else that is not an off-road YouTuber. So it's another YouTuber, but not an off-road YouTuber, and we have to train them to drive the Jeeps, our Jeeps, up the trail that we did last year for the record game. So come on out, hang out with us there. We're going to have a booth. We're going to be selling merch. We're going to be selling a custom t-shirt for that. We're going to have our winch lines and some new merch as well. So until then, huge shout out to our last time I said Patreons, but somebody corrected me. It's patrons. Huge shout out to our patrons from Patreon over there. In order to get to the off-road games, we have to make this truck drivable. So we'll continue on that in the next video. See you guys then. Any interjections?
No. Just thoughts.